Lost in the Jungle. For 6 months, Kris Kremers and her friend Lisanne Froon saved up in preparation for a trip to Panama. They were both students of Amersfoort, Netherlands, hoping to enjoy a bit of fun vacation, some volunteering, and a bit of learning on their trip. They wanted the whole deal: a tour through Panama, hiking, and all the nice things tourists get to enjoy in new places. But they also wanted to volunteer, to give back to the Panama community through humanitarian efforts where they teach arts and crafts to the kids while also improving themselves by learning Spanish, the predominant language spoken in Panama. Kris was only 21, while Lisanne was just a year older at the time. The 6 weeks trip was to be a wholesome experience, a little fun, a little volunteering, and a little learning. Show me a better plan. I will wait. But these plans were thwarted by something eerily mysterious, something so dark and unforgiving. The one thing the girls didn't include in their plans: death. The first part of their plan was completed early. They spent 2 weeks in Panama learning the language, getting ready to communicate with the kids they hoped to help, and also to communicate better with the locals they'll meet on their trip. With their language proficiency improved, they made their way down to Boquete, where they hoped to volunteer and teach kids as the second part of their plans. They were housed with a local Panama family. On the 1st of April 2014, 2 weeks after the young girls arrived in Panama, they took the family dog on a walk, hoping to get some of the planned hiking done. Earlier, they had made a post on Facebook mentioning their intentions to enjoy a tour of Boquete. On the post, the girls mentioned sharing brunch with 2 other Dutchmen before embarking on their planned hike. This is the last time anyone ever saw the 2 girls. That night, the family dog returned home, alone, with none of the girls, and while this caused some concern, the host family felt it wasn't sufficiently concerning enough. It was fairly common for tourists to make more plans and go wherever the fun took them, but by April 2nd, alarm bells were going off everywhere. The girls had initially booked a tour with a local tour guide who was to take them on a local walking tour of Boquete. When they didn't show up, the tour guide sought them out, and on getting news of their disappearance from the host family, he promptly reported it to the authorities. The authorities began a search, scouring the woods with a combination of a ground search and aerial search. Local authorities didn't have to search alone. A Dutch team of 18 people and 12 trained dogs were sent in to join the search, but none of them turned up anything. How do 2 grown girls fall off the face of the earth? Many asked. It is eerie to imagine, or even speculate, what might have happened to them. A $30,000 reward was offered for any piece of information regarding the girls' whereabouts was offered, but nothing came from any quarters. For 10 weeks, the police searched the woods along the border with Costa Rica, expanding further to cover more ground, but got nothing. No sign, no trails, and no hope. It was time to pack it all in as reality began to trump hope, and the painful realization that the girls were completely gone began to settle on everyone like a dark blanket. It was at this time that a local woman came to the police bearing a blue backpack which she claimed to have found in a rice paddy along the banks of the river. The contents of the bag brought chills to everyone. Lisanne's passport, $83 cash, a water bottle, 2 bras, 2 pairs of sunglasses, Lisanne's camera, and 2 cell phones belonging to Lisanne and Kris. The most disturbing piece of evidence came from the camera and the phones. For 10 days after the women went missing, their phones remained active, and in 4 days, they had made 77 desperate attempts to call the police using the 112 emergency number for their home country, the Netherlands, and 911 for Panama. These calls revealed a lot. The first 2 calls had come in shortly after the girls began their hike, showing they had been in distress merely a few hours after they began their hike. The dense woods didn't let any of their calls go through, but the most agonizing part of it is that one did go through, only for 2 seconds before it broke. Their one hope, dangling tantalizingly out of their reach. On the 6th of April, someone tried to open Kris's phone with the wrong pin and caused the phone to be locked, and 4 days later, both phones were dead. Besides the chilling evidence from their phones, there were even more chilling discoveries for Lisanne's camera. The images taken on the 8th of April were highly disturbing. They were all taken in the middle of the night and showed some of the girls' belongings hung out on rocks, with plastic bags and candy wrappers close by. But the most disturbing part of it all was the back of Kris's head, which seemed to be bleeding. The police quickly swung into action, rushing to investigate the area where the backpack was found, but all they found were Kris's clothes, folded neatly and placed along the river. Long afterwards, they also discovered a pelvic bone and a foot still lodged in a boot around the same area. What appeared to be the remains of the ladies was soon discovered, bringing everything to a gory conclusion. Lisanne's remains appeared to have undergone the process of natural decomposition, while Kris's remains appeared to have been bleached with some chemicals, as they looked very white and had no markers of natural decomposition. No one could categorically say what had happened to these young girls, and their harrowing ordeal remains a deep mystery. Detective Dick Steffens, a former Amsterdam detective, believes Kris Kremers may still be alive. According to him, the investigation by the police in Panama had been shoddy and unprofessional. He claimed that a man named Stefan W. had come forward to say Kris ended up in the sex trade and that he would be able to free her, but nothing had come of that, and the young girl's distraught family never heard from the man again. While many believe the girls were murdered, Dutch authors Maria West and Jurgen Snoren, in their book Lost in the Jungle, concluded that the girls met with an accidental death in their hike through the jungle. They arrived at this conclusion after an investigation that included a full look through the police files from the Panama police, interviews with detectives like Dick Steffens from the Netherlands, as well as Panamanian public prosecutor Bedzeda Pitti. It actually came as a surprise to us too, but our conclusions had to be that it was an accident. It took us quite some time to get there. Whichever theory you believe, the mystery of Kris and Lisanne remains, for the most part, a mystery, as no one can categorically answer the questions we have except both girls, who are nowhere to be found.